This man went into prison in 1999. When this man went into prison, Britney Spears was at the top of her game. I mean, that's so long ago, y'all. That's so long ago, okay? He's been in jail for damn near 20 years, okay? She has been talking to him for the past 6 years. So she's at her house getting ready to meet with her friend Michelle, gonna go to her bridal shower party that she somehow allowed her friends to throw for her. And she's cutting up fruit for her kids. Her friend Michelle comes over and is like, girl, let them kids cut them fruit up. She like, they can't cut the fruit. They're gonna hurt themselves. I'm gonna tell you right now that Andrea's oldest boy is probably at least 12. He at least 12, 13 years old, okay? He could cut some fruit. But anyways, you could tell the tension between Michelle and Andrea are starting right there. They've known each other since college. So they've known each other for quite a while. At least 10 years, right? So they're good friends. They're gonna go upstairs to have like a little talk or whatever, pick out some outfits she's gonna meet Lamar in. And when they get up there, they're just quipping back and forth, belittling each other back and forth. I think that Michelle is just really mad and disappointed at her friend. And maybe this has been bubbling up this entire time, but because he wasn't getting out of prison, like it didn't matter. And probably now it's gotten worse that he is coming out of prison. There is a lot of concern, and I am concerned for her too, because Andrea is living in a fantasy. If she thinks that a man who has been in prison for 18 years is going to come out and be able to live with her and her 3 children and be a father, girl, that's worse than Molly and Louise. That don't make no kind of bloody sense. He went to jail when he was 22 years old. Think about all the 22-year-olds you know and where they are mentally. Now think about all the 22-year-olds that you know and where they are mentally who are into gangbanging. Think about them. And think about his mentality. Now, don't get me wrong. I have met some people who have come out of jail and done the right things. Some black men who have strong and held on and done all the right things. And I hope that he is one of them. But for him to still be repping a set, for her to still be talking about the fact that she can't go to the prison wearing red because he's a Crip, like, that is dumb. The fact that maybe she's just saying it to say it, but the fact that it's even an issue is dumb, like, to me. So I have to reserve my judgment for Lamar when I actually see him come out of prison. Anyways, Andrea is still a fool. So she goes upstairs and she throws some shade at her friend, talking about Michelle's gonna be a 40-year-old virgin if she doesn't find a man to get married to. And I'm just like, no, I don't agree with this. This is dumb. Like, don't throw your friend under the bus, especially if she's a strict Mormon like you are. Maybe it's part of her religion. Listen, you don't need to have sex if you don't want to have sex, girl. You don't win a special award for not being a virgin. So like, I didn't like that Andrea threw that shade at her friend, because that is a stupid argument, in my opinion. Michelle and Andrea get ready. Andrea and her 2 kids, I believe, they go over to the house where her friend AJ is throwing her bridal shower. So for whatever reason, Andrea is sitting outside in the car, aligning her chakras, going zen, letting her baby girl do her makeup before she goes into the house. And Michelle comes out and is like, girl, you better get in this house. There are 10 people up there waiting for you. And then Andrea is like, and let them wait. Like she's Jaffe Joffer, the king of Zamunda, talking to her son. No, this girl is nervous and worried about the fact that she is about to go in there and divulge to these super Orthodox Mormon women who are not black that she is dating an inmate. And she has been dating him for 6 years. Girl's nervous. I'd be nervous for her. So she finally gets out of the car. She goes in. They sit down. And Mormon bridal showers are different. They do crafts. They read scriptures. And the Mormon women who are there, the married ones, helps the bride, gives her advice on how to become a righteous wife. Sounds just real dry and boring, But anyways, that's how she wants to get down. She decided to let her friends throw her this. I don't know why. But she did. So it's at her friend AJ's house. AJ is so excited to throw this. She is so excited for Andrea because she's always wanted a black friend. And there are no black friends in Utah for her because there's no black people in Utah. So they're sitting around the table. They start to ask questions. They're like, are you going to get married in the temple? And I don't know if you guys know, no non-Mormon people can go into the temple. Have you ever seen a Mormon temple? Girl, it's beautiful. But that's where everyone gets married. If your guests are not Mormon, they cannot enter the temple for the ceremony. So she's like, no, he's not Mormon. And they're like, he's not Mormon. And she's like, no, he's not Mormon. And they're like, oh, okay, well, you know, why haven't you been able to see him a lot? And she's like, well, he lives in California. And they're like, oh, he's coming to Utah, he's gonna live here. And she's like, hopefully one day. And they're like, well, why haven't you been able to see him a lot? And she's just like, who is in captivity in the Book of Mormon? Michelle is like, Michelle can't take it anymore. Michelle is like, he is not in captivity, girl. He is in prison. And everybody's like, he is in prison. They are so shocked. They're like, what? And she's like, yes, he's in prison in California. And they're trying to ask her questions, and she's like making up silly answers and kind of deflecting. And like AJ is like in her confessionals to the camera, she's just like, I don't know what's worse, him not being Mormon or him being in prison. Girl, you don't know what's worse? Okay, so that is the baseline of AJ. In fact, I think AJ is a mean girl. AJ goes on to look at her wedding ring and be like, did he get it from the penny gumball machine in the prison? And she starts to laugh, and other people around the table start to laugh too. And it embarrasses Andrea to the point where she has to get up and leave. There are a couple of people on the table who are supporting her and who were like, okay, well, she told us this and we're very shocked and we didn't know this. Everyone has atonement or whatever the law of atonement is. I don't know what that is, but like whatever that is, they're like, okay, like that's fine. You know, they're trying to like throw scripture behind it to make it okay for what she's doing. And AJ just like, oh, I'm sorry, Andrea. When Andrea gets up and like runs out of the house, she's like, girl, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You made me sad, so I said something hurtful, and now I'm sorry. It made you sad to hear her say that, so you said something mean. So when you get sad, you say mean things? Girl, what's wrong with you? Girl, she's not sorry. She is a mean girl in sheep's clothing. She probably doesn't have any friends who aren't stay-at-home moms besides Andrea because Andrea is black. I feel like she probably judges Andrea too, but is so excited that Andrea is black that everything else about Andrea's life that she doesn't agree with is okay simply because she's her black friend. I feel like AJ is a mean girl. She's just a mean girl. You don't say that to someone. Like, at least not in public in front of the cameras. Not around the craft table, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's all we have for that. And like, their story seems like it's just gonna be so dumb. Like, Andrea's just running into something. She's so sad, low self-esteem to be caught up in this situation. And it happens, girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, be realistic about it. That's the whole thing. Like, these situations I don't think are bad in general. I think that they're not being realistic about what it's really gonna be like when that person gets out of jail. And that's the part of this that I find to be the most annoying. It's like, come on guys, you're not living in a fairy tale. Okay, so next we have Alla, who's 27 years old, and James, who's 35 years old. James was in the military straight out of high school. He does IT. When he came back into the civilian world, he still did IT. He was married for 8 years. That didn't work. He left that marriage and decided that he needed somebody to talk to. So 10 months ago, he went online and found Alla, and he just fell in love with her and was able to tell her all his business, you know? And Alla, in turn, has been in prison for the last 5 years. She got addicted to heroin and was found in possession of heroin and distributing heroin, so she is in effect a heroin addict. And the only reason why she doesn't do heroin still is because she went to prison. Or his friend Chris is really worried. I'm really worried, you know what I'm saying? Like, drug abuse is really hard for me to deal with, but that's another conversation for another day. That is my blind side. Chris airs out all of his concern about Alla being a junkie and not being off of drugs, and only reason she's off of drugs is because she went to prison and how she could just come out and take up all his money and resources. And James is like, you know, I hear what you're saying, and James hasn't actually told any of his family. Chris is the only person who knows about Alla in the situation. It turns out Alla is going to get out of jail soon, and so he's been in contact with her mother a couple times. She doesn't want him to come to the prison to pick her up because she doesn't want him to see her straight out of jail, so her family's going to pick her up. Her mother and her father. P.S. her father looks way younger than the mother. His hair is just so jet black, girl. So they get in the car. Alla, they're so happy. She tries to FaceTime James. It doesn't quite work out. Mom has to show her how to do it. And she's really excited to meet him and get home and like become fresh and then meet him, you know, at another time, like maybe like a day later or something like that. So part of me is like, I think that James is a really smart person. He doesn't seem desperate and crazy. So I think that if things do get crazy, he might get out. But he did make some comment about being in the Marines and how they're like Semper Felus or Felus Semper Fide. Their like motto is like loyalty or something, and he's probably gonna be loyal to her. Girl, I hope he doesn't. It just really worries me. Like, people have to change their own mindset, and I don't think that other influences outside can help them. And so with all of the people that are coming out of prison, I really hope that they are able to go into some therapy, because I think therapy is a thing that's going to really help unpack a lot of the issues that got them into prison in the first place. If you don't heal what happened before prison, then what happens after prison isn't necessarily going to change or be better. I hope the best for these couples, and you know, I will be going in, especially when they all get out of jail and start talking their nonsense. But I just want, for the sake of the children involved in this, for the sake of people's finances that are involved in this, I want them to think with their heads and not with their heart, because at the end of the day, you can't let somebody take you under for love. Love shouldn't take you under. Alright, you guys, that is the end of this video. If you like what I do here on this channel and you would like to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please click the link down below. Please join the conversation down below. Tell me what you think about all the couples. Tell me if you're watching the show, how excited you are, blah, 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 blah. Mention things that I didn't mention in this video right now, and let's get a dialogue going. Also, if you would like to take this dialogue off of YouTube, you can join the Facebook group I have for all things reality TV commentary. It is a closed group, so you will have to answer some questions in order to be allowed in, but we just want to make sure you're not being weird and just trying to creep me in on the situation, you know? All right, that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.